Hello YouTube, Killswitch423 here, as you are aware. I was recently tagged in this little video game tag thing, which I hadn't heard about until I was apparently suddenly tagged on it by my good friend UnevenRanger. Um, and it's basically, I have to answer all these questions relating to video games, which, sounds super awesome. And so I just found out about it last night. Decided sort of on a spur to just go ahead and do it. I'm not going to brew on it because I feel like my gut answers will probably be the most accurate. So yeah, I'm gonna hop right into it, and I'll tag some people at the end. Which, oh wow, I haven't even thought about who I'm gonna tag because a lot of people have already been. Whatever, I'll get to it. Okay, so first question seems like a simple one, but also uh, favorite all-time favorite video game, PC and console. Ooh. All right, start with PC. Um, Yep. My initial reaction is to go with the Dragon Age series. I'm gonna have to go ahead and stick with that. It's a game I keep coming back to. Its story is so good. The characters are amazing. It speaks to me on so many levels, and I even like Dragon Age 2. It has its problems, of course, but despite its problems, the fact that I still enjoy it and still go back and play it says something. It's just Bioware games in general just sort of speak to me, and the Mass Effect series is very close behind Dragon Age in regards to my favorite PC games. They're both so good, so good, and with Inquisition coming out in a couple months, it's gonna be. I'm super hyped, but I think I'll talk about that later. There's another question. Yeah, I'll talk more about that there, even though I've kind of just answered it. But yeah, Dragon Age. It's so just. I could talk on and on and on and on for hours about Dragon Age, but I don't think there's much more that can be said. Just it's good. If you like RPGs, you should play it. Period. The story is brilliant. The characters are some of the best I've seen in games between both Dragon Age and Mass Effect. I think Dragon Age just gets the slightest edge. Yeah, that's my answer for PC. Even though I played it on console first, I'm enjoying it much more on PC. Um, Now, for a console game, I have to. It's a toss up for me, going back to my childhood, between Pokemon, the originals, Red, Blue, and Yellow, or The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Those two games sort of define my childhood, and I think I have to give a slight. As much as I love Pokemon, I think I have to give a slight edge to Legend of Zelda. Just for the sheer. I guess as many hours I put into Pokemon, I put more into Ocarina of Time just by the number of times I played through it over and over and over again. And to this day, I love Zelda games, and it's one of the reasons I love video games is that game. So I have to give it the credit. Yes, Majora's Mask is also very good, might be better in some ways. And Ocarina of Time, I know, is always. Everyone sort of says, oh, well, Ocarina of Time, everyone says that's their favorite Zelda game. It's the Final Fantasy VII of the Zelda series. But I really do. It was my favorite, not because it is the best mechanically or story-wise or anything else, but I remember one thing in specific when I was a kid. After collecting the first three stones to get in the Temple of Time, I thought that was going to be the end of the game. I was a kid, I couldn't comprehend the length of that sort of game yet. And so when all of a sudden I hadn't been spoiled, I didn't know anything about it, I didn't know about the time travel, and so the moment I got that, I thought I was done, and then I went in and it turned into Adult Link, and then I realized I had so much of the game left to explore, and I was so shocked and happy about it. It was one of those moments. I can still remember it so clearly, and I was maybe 9 or 10 when I played it. It was that big of a moment that I can still remember back to then exactly how I felt when that happened. And then the music in that game, oh man, the music. The tunes from that I still hum and sing randomly to this day at work. Just Saria song especially. I even sing Zelda's Lullaby as a lullaby to my daughter now and then. That's how big of an impact that game has had on my life. So I have to choose that for my favorite console game of all time. Now I'll go ahead and move on to the next question. Favorite genre? It's pretty easy answer. I have to give it to role playing games. When I was younger, it was more in the JRPGs, and then I discovered Western RPGs back with like Baldur's Gate, Diablo, Neverwinter Nights, Icewind Dale, and then more into the modern with Dragon Age, of course, and Mass Effect. The Elder Scrolls series. There's something to me about playing a character and seeing how the world reacts and other characters react to that character. And I think it's why, as much as I love the Elder Scrolls series and just the blank slate it gives me, I think that's why I tend to enjoy BioWare's approach just a bit more, is because there's just that much more reactivity to my characters. My character can fall in love with another character, and usually on my first time through playing a game like that, I will roleplay it as myself. What I feel I would do in that situation. So a lot of times it feels almost like I am getting to know these characters as friends. They are getting to know me, and they are reacting to me positively or negatively depending on how I feel about things. And I'm reacting to them and trying to appease them if I like them. And it's this very, very unique and touching aspect of role-playing games that no other genre really seems to do for me. Yes, there are brilliant characters in plenty of other genres, there are brilliant stories in plenty of other genres, but to me, it's the fact that it is ultimately my story to craft, and at least my character to shape the story, that really sets it at the edge. Is my favorite thing about role-playing games. Second to that, I would have to put strategy/simulation games. Not so much the real-time strategy sort of thing, more like turn-based, like Civilization and Alpha Centauri, games of that sort. I really enjoy the analytical aspect of it, of figuring out exactly what to do, and also seeing something I've built from the ground up, surviving through the ages and evolving. That is one of the aspects I really like about strategy games. But yeah, definitely my gut reaction answer there is and probably always will be role-playing games. As you should know by now if you've been watching my channel. Oldest game I can remember. This is a toss-up. My father, when I was a child, before my parents separated, I was very young, kindergarten, so like 5 or 6, I believe I was. Although honestly, as long as I can remember, I've been playing, sort of mashing buttons in Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, just with my dad not really knowing what I was doing. But the oldest game I can remember actively playing and knowing how to play the game was probably on the Super Nintendo, and I think it was a side-scrolling, but a top-down scrolling airship shoot 'em up, similar to 1942, but I believe it was called Ride and Trad. It's either this game that I'm talking about now, Ride and Trad. I think that's what it was called. I don't even remember what it was called. Is how long ago it was for me, and how vaguely I remember playing it. But I remember it fondly. It was too hard for me when I was a kid, but I still enjoyed playing it, especially with my dad, because it did have two-player co-op. So we'd go through, and he'd be one ship and I'd be the other ship, and we'd collect all these cool weapons, and there were bombs, and we were just shooting down bad guys, and it was just a good time. And it was definitely either that or I didn't really play Link to the Past when I was a kid, so I was going to say Zelda Link to the Past, but when I really started to think about it, no. Mainly it was Ride and Trad, other than the NES games that I just kind of mashed buttons on, until after that, when I could actually play video games with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. So I think it has to be that Ride and Trad game that I'd love to find and play again. That'd be great if I could find that and just sort of look back at it and see how it is compared to how I remember it. Games I'm looking forward to. Okay. Definitely Dragon Age Inquisition has to top this list. Especially news just came out earlier today, well, yesterday technically, about it having 4-player co-op, which in sort of a semi-randomized dungeon crawling experience, and you get gold and loot and take it back to buy more loot and upgrade your character. And the characters aren't, you're not really role playing the character because it's more of a focus on the combat, but the characters do have their own personalities and they banter with each other. And there's 9 characters, 3 for each class. So I'm guessing 3 for each archetype within, or 1 for each archetype within each class. So that's gonna be fun, finding one that I can play as. That sounds awesome, especially since I can do it with my friends and record it for you guys. Probably going to be doing that with UnevenRanger and hopefully Nicadia if he can get in on it with us. And one more, hoping Dragonster actually gets it. We can catch up with Dragonster, but that'd be fun. But and then just other than that, there's the story, the continuation of the story, and just getting back into a new character and that world, and seeing these people that I know are coming back: Liliana, Cullen, Varric, Cassandra, and then hoping to see the cameos that I know are going to be there with, Meryl. And the trailer recently had, okay, if you're like Nicadia and want to know like absolutely nothing about the game, I'm about to start talking about some of the trailers a little bit, so you might want to skip ahead a little bit. Trying to talk about it too long, but Hawk was in the trailer with a Grey Warden, and I know I think it was Mike Laidlaw, when asked about it, was said that is not our Grey Warden specifically, and he's being kind of cagey about it. Says not the hero of Ferelden, but I'm remembering in the default imports into Dragon Age 2, in their storyline, the hero of Ferelden died at the end of Origins. So that could just be the character that's there, the warden that's there, the warden commander from Orlais or whatever, that's there in replace of our warden. And I don't know why they'd be so cagey about it, but it's not. There's a little glimmer of hope for me. But yeah, just everything I've seen about it just makes me so excited. And I could go on and on and on and on and on, but I think I just better move on to the next question before this gets too drunk out, and this becomes a video about Dragon Age Inquisition rather than a video of me talking about video games in general. My least favorite character. Oh boy, that's rough. I'm trying to think. My least favorite. There are characters I do not like as people, but acknowledge them as great characters because they made me hate them so well. I'm trying to think who that would. I'm really trying to like gut reaction would be like Kai Lang for killing Thane in Mass Effect 3 and from the novels, but he didn't really get enough development in the game for me to say that. I mean, in the novels, yes, but in the game, he didn't really get enough character development for me to have anything about him other than he's the guy that killed Dame and he needs to die, So I don't really want to answer that. Loghain in Dragon Age Origins, really, he's got some motivations that you can really sort of understand and get behind, so it's really hard to say him as well, because he's a human, and he's a really well done character as well. I'm trying to think to other games other than BioWare games, because honestly, I love all the characters in BioWare games. Okay, I can give you one from Dragon Age Origins. Probably my least favorite character in Dragon Age Origins is Vaughn, primarily seen in the City Elf origin story. That dude, just thinking about him makes me want to punch him in the face repeatedly and then step on him in places that he shouldn't be stepped on, and torture him for a while before killing him. I really, really hate that guy. um, for reasons that would be apparent if you've played through the City of Origin. And it pains me to watch Let's Players like Variax who didn't know who he was, and for reasons of being merciful in their Let's Play, let him go later in the game, and I'm just like, no, so bad. But yeah, Vaughn for sure is up there on characters I really just do not like. He's very well written in making me hate him, but I hate him. I'm trying to think of besides. I don't know if he's my least favorite character in all of gaming though. I think one who just annoys me when I see them. And honestly, I have a pretty positive outlook towards most games as it is. Even games that I don't really like, I'm like, yeah, I see why that's good. My least favorite character. You know what? I might get a lot of crap for saying this, but the more I think about it, the more I realized just how boring Master Chief is to me. I'm sorry. I like the Halo games. I don't play any FPSs, but Halo I like. But Master Chief just bores me to death. I'm sorry. I haven't played anything past Halo 3, so if you got some good character development there, good, good for them. But he's just so boring, and I don't see why he gets so much recognition as a great character when he's just. I don't see it. You know? I mean, yeah, he's a badass, does badass things, but he's just a badass space guy behind a helmet. I might be wrong, but I mean, that's my opinion of him. And I think I'll have to go with that answer just because of how much, not so much him, but the attitude around him, that he's always this awesome. Should go to. I feel like I'm forgetting about somebody. I'm gonna stop this video and then be like, oh, right, I should have mentioned them because God, I hate them. When I was younger, I really hated Seymour, I believe his name was, from Final Fantasy X. Oh, that guy made me angry. I don't remember. I need to replay Final Fantasy X. It's been a while. I don't remember specifically what he was doing, but it was just really making me mad. Gosh, why can't I? I really thought I had more characters I disliked. Yeah, I think I better move on. If I think about, I don't want to move on. I'm gonna remember somebody. I know it. Sorry guys, I know I'm dragging on a bit, but this is kind of a spur of the moment thing, just sort of me talking about what's going on here. Least favorite character ever. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Skull Kid always creeped me out in Legend of Zelda, but that doesn't make him my least favorite. Yeah, I don't really have a least favorite character as far as I'm concerned. Most characters, even the ones I don't like, I don't like them for a reason. Maybe I'm just not playing enough bad games. But yeah, I think Master Chief definitely annoys me the most. Not so much anything he does, like I said, but the attitude towards him, that he's supposedly this awesome character, but I don't see it. Now, favorite characters. Here we go. Probably my favorite thing about BioWare games is their characters. So this is gonna be a list. It's gonna be a list. I can't just pick one. I really can't. It's gonna be a lot of BioWare. I'm gonna start with the non-BioWare though. There's always Link from Legend of Zelda. He's always cool. Silent but awesome. And also from Legend of Zelda, Zelda/Shake herself. And I've always liked Malon a lot. Malon's been super cool. So those are my favorite Zelda characters. And whenever I think about favorite characters, like I said before, my head immediately jumps back to good old bloody BioWare games. That's the word I'm looking for. It's very late at night now, and I apologize. But okay, so I'm gonna start off Liliana from Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2, and soon to be Dragon Age Inquisition. Tali, Zora, Naraya Vas. Why am I speaking so slow? Tali, Zora, Naraya Vas Normandy. Um, Legion from Mass Effect, as well as Tali. Um, wow, my head can't go back any further. Alistair from Dragon Age Origins. Morrigan and Flemeth from Dragon Age Origins. And I think I should stop the list there before this just becomes me naming off BioWare characters. So yeah, back to Liliana. The first time I played through Dragon Age Origins, she was the one I ended up romancing. She's just there's a lot of layers to her character, and I really dig that. You meet her on the surface, she's this timid, not really timid. She starts out just kicking some ass, but this real, very nice, very kind, very lighthearted and soft Chantry sister with some obvious combat skill and a past she's not really wanting to talk about. And as you talk to her and get to know her, found out she was a bard, and then you found out the implications that she was she found out she was a minstrel first, because in the Dragon Age universe, minstrels and bards are different things. So you found that she was a minstrel, traveling, telling stories, and she shares those stories with you, and they're very nice stories. And then sort of start to peel away at her character and find out, more and more about her past, and that she was actually a bard or a spy, and acted as an assassin, and done very questionably illegal things in the name of serving nobility, and that she really enjoys the intrigue and that life, and sneakiness, and all that. And you really reveal this depth of her character, that she is ultimately right now a very great person, very nice and kind, and definitely on the right side of things, but has had a past that is very troubled. And I can't help but my characters can't help but fall in love with her every time I play the game. It's so hard for me to not romance her and romance someone else. And then there's Alistair, of course, from Dragon Age Origins. He's a bro. He is quirky and funny. Some of the best one-liners in all of gaming. My kind of sort of cheesily sarcastic lines that really are very punny and fun, and ties in with that with Morrigan, and their banter back and forth is great. Steve Valentine, his voice actor, is a very talented guy, and is very, very cool from what I've seen in videos. And I really do like him and other things he's in. Same for Morrigan, Claudia Black. Farscape. It's a great show. Her voice is perfect, and the mystery behind her is great, and the breakdown of her character as you get to know her, from this sort of cold, stoic, seemingly emotionless character, that you start to reveal and get to know more that she really does care, but she's afraid to show it, at least specifically for your warden if you get along. And I think one of my favorite goodbye scenes at the end of Origins is with Morrigan as, not a romance, but as good friends. Or actually, if you're a female warden, I believe she refers to you as a sister, which is big. It's really big for her. And then there's the whole, old god baby thing to save the wardens. That's a big deal. Oh, spoilers, by the way. Sorry. Oh God, I really hope Ranger doesn't watch this before getting to that part. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You don't know what I'm talking about. Shush. Who else did I say? Oh, Tali. Of course, Tali. I remember playing through Mass Effect 1 the first time and like being upset that Tali was not a romance option. Although looking back on it, it's appropriate that she wasn't, because she wasn't quite ready for a relationship yet in Mass Effect 1, which is part of the great part of her character, is that she's this young young Quarian learning about the galaxy, and Shepard saving her, and then she starts to learn from Shepard over time, and just looks up to him, and then you can tell she starts to form a crush on him a little bit. Um, at the beginning of Mass Effect 2, when you meet back up with her, and she's in command now of her own squad, and she's taken a lot of. Um, I mean, I cheered. I was so happy to see her again in Mass Effect 2, especially because you meet her on so early on in the game, and it's just nice to have that little bit of connectivity and see her, and bring you back, and her recognize you and have that moment of no, I trust this person, and that she's got your back, even though she doesn't join your crew immediately again. Then she's found command and respect with the Quarians because of what she did with Shepard in Mass Effect 1 and what she's learned from him, or her. And well, I'll say him just because I tend to play a guy in Mass Effect, even though I love playing female Shepard because of how awesome Jennifer Hale is. And then Mass Effect 2, the first time I threw, for my first playthrough of Mass Effect, I will say this: I romanced Ashley in Mass Effect 1. In Mass Effect 2, after Horizon, my Shepard was pretty upset with the idea of the relationship. And in Mass Effect 2, in my first playthrough, the one I imported into Mass Effect 3, he gave up on Ashley, and Tali was there for him, and all of a sudden, I didn't even know it was an option until it was happening, and I was like, oh my god, that's awesome. I was like, you know what, I'll try it. I'll try and be a little bit. She seems to be going that way, and she opens up and about having a little bit of a crush she had, and it turns into this real relationship, and they form a bond even though they're physically incompatible. The idea that they can't even make skin contact without risking her life, and yet they take that risk anyway, or she takes that risk anyway for him. I mean, with Morden helps make sure everything's okay, but it's just great. And then, aside from the romance and the love interest, and through Mass Effect 3, the dynamic of the relationship growing even farther into her becoming an admiral, growing in power even more. It's just her character arc is very great throughout the three games. But even aside from all the romance stuff, she is so adorably funny sometimes, unintentionally. Like it's something even Ranger brought this up as well in the Citadel DLC for Mass Effect 3. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't bring this up, but in Mass Effect, I believe it was Mass Effect 3. It might have been Mass Effect 2. I think it was Mass Effect 2 because Kasumi was on the ship. She gets drunk near the end of the game in Kasumi's room, and just drunk Tali. That's all I gotta say is drunk Tali. But then it was even better in this Citadel when she's imitating the sound that Normandy makes, the whoop 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 whoop. She's drunk again, and it's awesome. And then if you go a certain way, she gets too drunk and ends up passed out in the well, not passed out, but on the floor in the bathroom, making nonsense murmurs. One of which being about actually a very clever reference to how crazy the fandom can be. There was, I have to preface this by saying there was actually a thread on the BioWare forums that went to great length to scientifically discuss the molecular breakdown of what a Quarian's sweat would taste like. I am not joking. This is a thing that happened, and I saw it happen. It was very weird, but that's fans sometimes. And one of her lines while she's on the ground is, "It just tastes like sweat. What else would it taste like?" Oh man, it was so good. She's such a great character. She's my favorite character in Mass Effect, for sure. But Mass Effect, they're just full of great characters. I could go on about characters for a while, but I think I've covered my main favorites for sure. And this video is going on quite a bit long, so I'll wrap it up by just mentioning who I'm tagging with this video. I will tag Dragonster. I hope you get to see this. I'd really like to see your thoughts on this. And Chibi Rua as well. I know you watch my stuff, so I'd like to see what you have to say as well. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll shut up now. It's been a half hour. Wow. Stay shiny.